Welcome to the Mizell Show.
An inspiration for a new generation.
Hi, I'm Alanna Mizell, a loving mother of two, a devoted wife to Steven, and an entrepreneur helping women realize their dreams and potential.
And I'm Steven Mizell, caring father of two, a devoted husband to Alanna, and a driving force to help young men prepare for life after college football.
And if that wasn't enough, we're a biracial couple.
She was raised in the North, but I was raised in the South.
The only thing normal about our lives, who am I kidding? It's never normal around here. Join us for the Mizell Show.
Right now. Well, welcome to the Mizell Show. We would love for you guys to just introduce yourselves to what we're calling, we started dubbing this the Mizell Village. So it's the village of our supporters and people.
Yeah.
So please introduce yourself to our village.
All right, you me?
Yeah.
All right, Josh and Jasmine Day. We're most commonly known these days as the owners of New Day Healing and Wellness. I guess, what is there to say about us? We've been married for about 9 years now. Mm-hmm. We have 5 kids.
Just say that again for everybody that didn't hear that. They have 5 kids and own a business.
Yes, they do.
In case anybody thought that they were slacking in life,
yes.
let me just update everybody on that one.
Yeah, that's us. That's we just like to keep it real crazy and real and normal and authentic, and kids do that. Owning a business does that, and that's just kind of the season of life that we're in. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we don't do well with boring.
Yeah,
definitely do not well with bored. So
and just a little, I guess, back up a little bit. I met Jasmine in undergrad.
Oh yeah.
And we were in different sororities, but we were in a lot of events together. And Jasmine didn't do boring then. So I'm not surprised you don't do boring now. That's for sure.
So true.
The more fun, the better. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And, but we kind of connected back with you guys before Josh was done with school. Is that right?
Yeah.
In the middle of school?
He was in his last rotation, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at the time you guys were in Memphis and then you moved to Florida?
Yeah. South Florida. We moved to a new solar development community down there.
Very cool.
It was really cool. But definitely we were not ready for that in our season of life.
How long were you guys in Florida?
A little over a year.
Almost 2 years. I think almost 2 years. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
Well, as you guys know, before we left, Josh was finishing up school, and we were at that place where it was we really needed to purchase a house because we had been renting, and we felt like that was just not the best, financial decision. And Memphis, we wanted to be here, but we couldn't really settle on the right house and the right location with the right budget. That's what you were right there with us for all of that.
Well, and we'd always talked about moving to Florida.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
We figured why not try to start there?
Right. We couldn't get the perfect little scenario here. So we were let's try out Florida. And so we were there. And then, we were just honestly living way above our means and just so stressed out. We were happy, but you can only be happy for so long until you realize
when you're in a large amount of debt because you're making just ridiculous.
Yeah. So that really just started to weigh on us and our marriage. It was just too much. It was great. It was a wonderful season, but it just wasn't, where we needed to be.
Yeah.
So we ended up back here.
I love it.
Yeah.
And Josh, will you give kind of your education background?
Yeah. So I went to U of M with Jazz and with you as well. So I graduated there 2014.
So notice, Josh, how you was oh, Jasmine was oh, yeah, Josh, you did go to school with us. I guess we didn't hang out with you. Josh was that guy.
I definitely didn't know Josh existed until
Josh was the president of his fraternity at the same time. So, same little bit of circle. But
sorry, Josh.
we don't have to go into too much detail, but he just like run in the same type of circle that we
Yeah.
run
That's
in.
really cool. That is pretty
That's
cool.
enough said, Jasmine.
That's
Yeah,
enough
We'll
said.
leave it there.
I think we're good. All right, Josh. All right, Josh. You went to the U of M. Okay, go ahead.
And then whenever I graduated, we were going to do physical therapy school. I wanted to go to PT school, and I got accepted to Kentucky, like University of Kentucky, and then a place in California and a place in New York. And those just seemed like crazy decisions, even though I always wanted to go there. And Kentucky seemed safe because I had family there. So we decided to go there for PT school. Graduated in 2017. And so that's kind of when I started working as a physical therapist. But halfway through school, I knew I didn't want to do PT.
Oh, jeez.
Like
Honestly, before,
yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
I think it was second semester.
I was pregnant with Judson. So also just a little background.
Yeah.
Josh and I dated. Again, here let's do the no boring theme for you. We dated for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then
quick.
we were married. That includes being engaged.
Dated, married, engaged, or dating, engaged, married within 3 months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Judson came how quick?
Well, we found out we got married in like August, and then in December I found out I was pregnant. So I mean, we got pregnant like a month or something into being married. Like, I mean, crazy town.
But Jasmine, I will say this. I know people are going to be like, y'all are insane. From knowing you before Josh and then seeing you meet Josh, you were happy. But like, it was almost like, I'm just happy because I should be happy. Ever since you met Josh, it's like this authentic, like in your soul happy.
I think,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think
I see you, Josh.
So much of it too is I had to really like find out who I was and honestly like develop and pursue a relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
Myself. And so then I was able and at a place to really know what happiness was. And so Josh like walked right into that. And so it wasn't one of those things that we really felt like we needed a lot
for like
of
a year and a half before that too.
Yeah, we'd been friends for so long. And he had seen that. I mean, he'd seen me come out of, he didn't know me before I really like was who I am now. So, I mean, it just all played out really well. And I feel like you didn't really have, it seems so crazy, and all the things that we do has seemed so crazy, but in the moment, it just worked out right.
I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy at all. One of our kids just woke up, so Steven just walked away.
Okay, want me to pause?
We can keep talking. It's fine.
Okay, I was big picture thinking about like how, we had a lot of big things happen in such a short season that when Josh started school, he was really pushed into doing something in the medical field by his family because, that gets you,
that's
money.
Where all the jobs are. That's where security is.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's like that stuff worked 40 years ago when you could do a minimum wage job and pay for your education. But I graduated undergrad with only $20,000 in student loan debt.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I went to PT school, and now we have $230,000 in my student loan debt.
Yeah.
So I added $210,000 for a degree that I didn't even want to do second semester in.
Yeah.
But we were pregnant, and I was scared, and I acted out of fear, and I'm not if I was who I am now, different decision. But back then, I was nowhere near where I am now.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? And Steven and I do this all the time. And I feel like for us, there's like this constant battle of like shaming ourselves, but trying to not shame ourselves of the season that we were in when we were too young to know better. Yeah. And just like the life that you have to live to learn that is just so interesting.
Yeah. Well, and just like knowing Josh, like as my husband and like knowing and understanding him and who he is and, how he was created, but also like things that he's gone through that's made him who he is. Like he was carrying burdens that he didn't have to be. And he had a weight on him that he didn't really have to be, but there was no encouragement or freedom or really support outside of like me and him to make a choice different than like the road we were walking on, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so it's just exactly like what you're saying.
Yeah. Like my family would have they would have been ridiculous about it.
Yeah.
Like they would have been like, "What are you doing with your life?" They would have like
Right.
not supported us at all, which
Yeah.
we definitely needed their support during that season. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that went into that. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So at what point did you guys decide, let's pivot and create this beautiful brand of New Day Healing and Wellness?
Yeah. So along with Josh, like not liking his job,
Yeah.
there's
Seriously,
that
not
whole
liking it.
aspect.
By the way, yeah.
But it really like foundationally goes back to this is the lifestyle that we live. Like
Mhm.
we've spent the last 8 years really reworking and learning and understanding and like just figuring out what it means to be healthy and what wellness actually looks like.
Mm.
That's been things that we've like, learned because we had to, because we had issues like with our children, like things we were trying to overcome or like heal, but also just like with Josh being in the medical field, he got to see firsthand how we're spoon fed knowledge or information that really is just benefiting those who tell you what to think and believe.
Mm.
And we got to see that that didn't work in our own life and really try to rethink what does work, give others advice. I mean, I've had friends and family that have been coming to us for years wanting our advice on information or our
Yeah.
advice and to get information over stuff. And, Josh and I have joked, years ago, he was like, you should just start consulting people. And
Well,
then,
you should just do an online business and be a consultant.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I probably should have. And then it was just Josh started learning about all these things and he was able to really have, I mean, honestly, because he has his doctorate, people believe and trust him
Mhm.
Mhm.
more than anyone else.
Which they shouldn't. Jasmine's
Which they shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Don't get me wrong. I've learned. I've taken courses. I've learned some stuff, but like in general, Jasmine's more educated on it than I am. So it's funny.
There's nothing like a mama who needs to know what's going on and how to help her kids.
Well, and it just
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
the whole reason why we homeschool too. Like
Yeah.
the education system doesn't, in my eyes, doesn't really mean much. Like if
Yeah.
you can show me on, like if you can perform, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
all of that just goes into, this is a lifestyle that we live. This is a way that we think. This is, an everyday choice for our family to pursue wellness and to steward our health in a capacity that's different than the world around us. So we
Mhm.
wanted to really take that and use it in a capacity to share that with others. To also benefit our family, of course, like, we get to use the therapies and we're obviously, long term hoping to make some money off of opening a business. But like, yeah, it's who we are. And we've gotten to really just like, turn that into a job.
Yeah. So, Jasmine, you've mentioned the phrase or the word wellness quite a few times, and it's in the name of your business. Define wellness in not the world's terms, in the day's terms. Like, what does that mean?
Okay. Wellness in our terms, not the world's terms.
I will say, I
Mhm.
think we have some contrarian views to like what you will find if you Google search like healthy diet, all that type of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and like I think, and the thing is, we've tried, but we've done all those things, and I think
Mhm.
there's a season and a reason for going
Mm.
gluten free, dairy free, eliminating sugar, doing all those things. Like I definitely think there's a season for that, but that's not a lifestyle to be lived.
Mm.
Mm.
That puts so much stress on your body, on your mind. Like every day, every time you go out to eat, every time you go to families, like if you're like if like you're just your bodies are made to adapt, and like yes, in a short season, 2, 3, 6 months maybe, like you might need that if you're really severe and you're struggling with chronic stuff. But after that, like if you can introduce a good food source in to your life, like not the processed version of that, and you've done some gut healing, your body can most likely tolerate those things. Like if you do raw milk and
Yeah.
like actually homemade bread and stuff like that, like you can, like our bodies are healthier now than they were when we were doing gluten free, dairy free. Like we're significantly healthier now than we were then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So just like Google, if you Google wellness, it says the state of being in good health, especially as an actively pursued goal. And I think really to define wellness from our opinion, you have to look at what health means. And
Mm.
like even when we were like thinking about New Day, health and wellness, a health and wellness center, I didn't like the word health in there. That's why we changed it to healing and wellness.
Oh, okay.
I just feel like when you come down to like, what's health? Like, what's healthy? Like this is healthy or that's healthy or whatever. Like,
research on it too.
Yeah, and it's everyone's opinion rolls into it, but you can't argue about the word healing. Healing is black and white. Something is wrong, and you're doing what you need to do to heal that. Whether it's diet, like Josh was talking about, or it's working out, or whatever. Healing is something that's active. It's moving. It's growing. It's a committed, goal that you have, which helps you get to a state of wellness. And again, like I kind of, I can support wellness being a state of good health, but the whole good health thing is, let's look at America. Health is overweight, obese.
Right.
Like, what is health? Like, people who are chalked up on 4 medications to get to that state of wellness. Like, I just, I think that's kind of more.
And that's what you just said, chopped up on 4 medications. So, Jasmine, you know this lovely story. For people that were to look at like my diet and structure, they would say that, like, I would have people at work, they'd be like, wow, you're just so healthy. You're so committed. First, all I did was bring my lunch. So to them, that was healthy.
That's a great starting point, though, that people need to do that.
But they would also say, not realize that I was on, at one point was up to 14, between 14 medications and supplements together.
Yeah.
But there was no healing happening, which is what you were saying. So I love that imagery of that. And I do think so many people are like, I'm healing from this or that because I'm taking a medication. But in reality, you're not.
You're not. And
you're just masking the symptoms.
You're masking the symptoms, and like kind of like what Josh was saying, like some of these things could be for a season, but like what happens when you leave that season? What happens when you have to change or that change directions from that medication or whatever you're doing? Has your body had that, that gut healing? And a question I have for you guys is that, Jasmine, I think you were raised in Arkansas, correct?
Yeah. I sure was.
And Josh, you've touched a little bit on your background, but like when you see where you are now, you may or may not have been raised this way. So I know a lot of moments come into play, but like, is there a light bulb moment when you guys both said, we need to pivot to this lifestyle? Like, what happened? Or can you walk us through 1 or 2 things where you're like, you know what? We weren't raised this way, but we see how our life is going. Do you have one of those moments to share with us?
Yeah, so this is going to be a hot topic for some, but we'll, in pursuit of authenticity and just, we are who we are, and we don't mind to share these things. We really do feel like God has walked us through. I feel like we've gone through these things to really be able to share them with others and to be authentic and to use that to help other people see and understand perspectives that maybe aren't their own.
Yeah.
Like we said, Josh was, in medical school. We were very traditional in our ways of thinking and in our pursuit of what we thought was health and wellness.
Yeah.
And our first child, we did everything normal with him, like normal, common, however you want to chalk it up. Like, we followed all the rules.
Yeah.
And he stopped breathing after his 2-month vaccines. And that was really hard for us because at that point, we had a few people be like, hey, rethink vaccines.
You're like, you're crazy.
Yeah. And we were just like, yeah, we're healthy and I want a natural birth, but like, I'm not that natural. Like, I'm not there yet, kind of thing. And when your son stops breathing immediately following a vaccine, it's going to be pretty hard unless you just really have some like superpowers and can chalk it up to something else. To me, it's really hard to ignore that.
Yeah.
And that really was a turning point for us. We didn't have an option. At that point, we first of all had to start a lot of healing protocols, but alongside that, the medical world around us at that point was not supportive. Our pediatrician, literally took it. So when we switched pediatricians later, because obviously we wanted to find people that would support us and help us and come alongside us,
Yeah.
that is available in traditional medicine. You just have to find the right people for that.
Mhm.
But when we switched pediatrician's office, we got our records transferred and they took it out of our records.
That it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
They deleted it from the records.
Any of the calls, they had taken out our follow-up appointments.
Yeah, they're supposed to port that to the vaccine injury court, like injury report nationally, and they didn't do that.
I was about to say, isn't that illegal to take it out of your medical records?
It is. But we had just gone through so much trauma surrounding
it. Oh, yeah.
I couldn't even deal with it anymore.
Yes.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. You weren't going to turn around and be like, yeah, let me slap a lawsuit on you.
Right.
And we didn't have money for it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Josh is like, we ain't got money for that.
It took us months to even tell our family that it had happened. Because obviously at that point, we had two choices. Either continue vaccinating and risk something happening again, which is what the first pediatrician said. They were like, oh, well, this stuff just happens.
It's not normal for someone to stop breathing. We'll stop. Just full stop. That's not.
Yeah.
But it happens. And, we had a choice right there. Are we going to rely on someone else to encourage and ultimately make medical decisions for our family? Or are we empowered and knowledgeable enough to make decisions alongside people for our family or even on our own? At that point, we weren't there yet, but we ended up switching to a different practitioner who was, super, super helpful. And it all has played out like wonderfully. And it really was like a pivotal turning point for how we think about everything when it comes to our bodies and, what we put in our bodies, what we put on our bodies, what we eat.
Well, then just like a little bit of back history on that. Like whenever we finally did tell our family, lo and behold, I had seizures after all of my vaccines when I was a kid, but my mom was told it was normal. And she's a nurse anesthetist. She graduated top of her class. She's a very intelligent woman. Yeah. But like she didn't even think to question. And back then, to her credit, there wasn't the internet. There was
right.
Like if she wanted to learn something, she had to go to a library. So
and people aren't talking about this stuff.
People aren't talking about it. No, exactly.
No. Not, and I like what you said, because I think whether people have kids that listen to the podcast or just like in general in their lives, you mentioned coming alongside the practitioner or whoever the medical professional is to determine your own care.
Yeah.
And I know personally, I've kind of just taken what MDs have said as, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do because you're an MD and that's where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
And the reason that I'm in a healing journey now is because the MDs didn't do research and I didn't do the research or vouch for myself and actually have them coming alongside me. So I love that you said that, whether it be for your kids or for whatever, specialist or whomever you've got to go to, there are other options.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I love that.
Well, and even like with Josh, sharing about his family, on my side of the family, we had a lot of similar, experiences as well. And then even Josh really started to look through and say, you know what, I had a weird reaction to this. Or, when Josh had surgery, when I was 39 weeks pregnant. With our first.
Never boring.
It's a good idea to act
Never
like I was 18 and go play a basketball game in the league without warming up. 2 minutes in, rupture my Achilles. Great choice. Great life choice. And then, but with that, what she was getting to is when I had that surgery.
Which again, keep in mind, we didn't have kids at this point. So our experience with his surgery, we thought was completely normal.
Right.
But
I couldn't, my O2 sats would, if I closed my eyes, my O2 sats would go from 98, 99 all the way down to 60 in a matter of like 4 seconds.
And Josh, what does that mean for like the general world?
Yeah, sorry. So what that means is basically if they would have let me sleep, I would have died.
Yeah.
Is what that means. So they had to monitor me. I couldn't go to sleep after my surgery for 24 hours.
It was crazy.
It was ridiculous.
They wouldn't discharge him for a while because he wasn't regulating. And again, like Josh mentioned, his mom was there with us, and she's a nurse anesthetist. So
she literally puts people to sleep for surgery.
Yeah, this was her job, and he wasn't. It just was a really bad situation. But come to find out, alongside these vaccine reactions, along with reactions to anesthesia, all of this plays into a genetic condition. And we had gene panels ran and we had those read and studied. And so now we're able to like really see all of this from a different perspective.
Yeah.
But it all plays into each other. And it's just stuff that we could have had a medical practitioner who was knowledgeable about these things and was able to teach us, but they're only taught what they're taught. And you don't know what
Right.
you know.
Yeah. They're only taught that Western medicine side and not kind of the full.
Well, even the
full
Western
scope.
medicine side, it's like they don't even teach. It's not. Like you're a specialist. Like you have a surgeon that focuses on the heart only, not the whole system that plays into the heart, just the heart. You have a surgeon that is an orthopedic.
Yeah.
And normally within orthopedics, you specialize on a certain region: hip, ankle, knee, whatever. Like it's so specialized that no one has a holistic picture of the body, in general for most of Western medicine. And it like even in their schooling, most of their schooling is you have these symptoms. This is the medication you should prescribe.
Yeah,
it's not what is like what diet like what is like they get 4 hours of education on diet. That's it in their entire 4+ years of like postgraduate school. 4 hours on diet. Like it's not a holistic viewpoint at all. And it's not their fault. Like it's the system.
But then the issue is people like us go to them and we give them like a God complex because we think they have all of this information and they don't. And there's no way that they could really.
That's such a good point, is that we also kind of put the idolization on that.
Yeah, we want them to carry. It's easier, I think, for us if we allow someone else to make decisions because then they carry the weight and the burden of the outcome. And
at least mentally, it's easier to detach from that, even though in reality, you're the one that's going to have to live with it.
Yeah.
So New Day is essentially taking all of that and saying you have an equal, if not larger portion of healing and making yourself well.
Absolutely. I think a big thing for us is we really want to empower people to make good choices for themselves. And we give them the modalities to do that. Be that a therapy for a specific illness or, like trial that they're trying to overcome, or if it's just general wellness, like what we were talking about, like they're healing something or they're working on that foundation of wellness, we have something for you.
And like we really do, like we spend time with people, like when they come in, they have questions. Like there's been multiple times that like I've told someone they need to go somewhere else because they want a hotter sauna, or they have arthritis and they need a level 4 laser because they're so far into they have so much pain that like sauna is good early on for arthritis. But like when you're so far in and you're like in unbearable, like 8 out of 10 pain, like a level 4 laser is what you need. We don't have that. Like there's a guy up the road that has something like that. So it's like, we really do try to help people get what they need and not just sell them on something. Like that's not our goal.
I will say that from experience that you guys don't sell anybody on anything. Sweet Jasmine answers paragraph long text messages from me all the time.
I really do love that though. I mean, and I think too, I say this is kind of like when I'm talking with people, we want to come alongside you and support you. Like we really do see it as an opportunity to have like a team like mentality. We don't want to just tell you what to do because that's like allopathic medicine. That's what you want to get away from. It's not a one size fits all. And you shouldn't come to me and say, hey, what should I do? And me say, you do this. But I would love to come alongside you and talk about what your goals are and how I think we can support that. And I just feel like this venue really gives us an opportunity to do that. And it's helping people feel safe and secure to make those choices for themselves with like our support and our encouragement and just like, it's just fun to really be alongside someone in that.
So with all that being said though, Josh and Jasmine, I have a question for you. In this world we live in, how do you guys make sure you're not crossing the path of being someone's savior? Because a lot of times people want a shot or a pill or I'll send the sauna and it's going to instantly make me this way. So how do you guys walk that line and just walk us through how you guys are able to mentally make sure you're not trying to be the savior for this customer you're seeing, like, okay, this is your third time being here in the last hour. Like, are we healthy doing this?
So I'm pretty upfront with people from the very beginning that like
Good.
basically everything that we have is not a quick fix. Like now, if you have seasonal depression like I do in the winter, red light, yeah, you're going to notice benefits pretty much right after. Or if you have like a minor cold, like the salt booth, yeah, you're going to notice benefits pretty quick. You're super stressed, sure, float tank, you'll notice benefits pretty fast after that. Outside of that, though, most of our services are, minimum of 5 to 10 sessions before you're going to start to see any noticeable change. And so I'm very upfront with people about that because expectation is everything. Because they're, a lot of these services are becoming popular on, social media and stuff like that, and pop culture, and they're like, oh, this is the thing. This is what's going to help. And it's like, but that article or that, short TikTok or whatever doesn't go into the depth of like, okay, it took me 40 sessions in a hyperbaric chamber to actually like see, 80% of the results that I wanted to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I really, and I know Jasmine does the same thing, and we train our employees to do the same thing. It's like, it's not a quick fix, and no, we're not trying to sell you on more. We just want you to have a clear expectation because it's not a pill. Like this is getting to the root cause of your problems.
Yeah.
So it's going to take longer because your problem didn't happen overnight. It's not going to be fixed overnight.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
I share with people a lot when they ask me like, oh, how much do I need to do this? Or how often do I need to do this? I really equate it to working out. Like you can go to the gym and you can do a class and that can be fun. That can make you feel good. You can be proud of yourself and you can have benefits right away. If you do a workout once a month, you're still positively benefiting your body. If you do a workout 4 or 5 days a week, you're going to have more benefits. If you work out every single day, you're going to have immense benefits. You're going to see changes more quickly. You're going to, you just like overall be able to experience the benefit of it more quickly. And, it's going to be easier to notice. Like consistency and commitment, and again, it's like, I really just kind of view these things as standards of living. Like we can use specific things to address specific issues, but I feel like we overall have to think about like, how are we adding to our wellness? And all of these modalities give you that option, even if you're not targeting a specific issue.
Yeah, I love that. And like specifically the philosophy that you all have really does go through every facet. If you're consistently working on your relationship or your marriage with your partner or whomever, of course, the more you work on it, the better it's going to get. And I love that imagery with working out because I think so many people think, oh, I'm going to do this 12-week crash course on macro counting and weightlifting, and then I'm going to be good. And that's not really the case. It's that you spent so much time in 12 weeks that you hadn't spent before.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know you guys, you're not big on here's what you got to do. But let's just play kind of like a hypothetical situation so we could get everybody corrupted and go to New Day all the time. That's the goal, right? That's my goal. Anyway. Yeah. So hypothetically, somebody kind of walks in and is like, I see you've got all these things, the hyperbaric chamber, the red light, the sauna, all these fabulous things. They've decided to come off medication. They've just started kind of that journey. They probably have some weight gain and swelling and probably nausea from coming off, the traditional side effects from tapering off of medications. Where do you start with that?
You want to answer? Okay. What I usually ask people, and this is kind of what we train people, what's your end goal and what are you struggling with the most right now? Because then we can kind of make a game plan, and we can address specific issues like you're saying. Maybe they need to detox. Maybe they need, magnesium from the float tanks. Like maybe there's a supplement that we can recommend to support them. What's going on in their everyday life? Are they eating McDonald's every sort of day kind of thing? Bigger picture, like if you can look and say, here's my end goal and here's what I'm really struggling with, I think that it puts things in perspective, and then that's where we get to that personalization with what we recommend for them.
I love that.
And I will say a lot of times when people are coming in and they're brand new to health, like I will oftentimes tell them, like, there's a ton of free stuff that you can do. Like, if you're really struggling, like, yes, we have stuff that'll help you and that will help get you there faster, but there's a ton of free stuff that you can do. Like, change your sleep habits, that's free. Like when you first think, like when you wake up, get out in the sun, 10, 15 minutes after you wake up. Like your diet is not free, but like you're going to have to spend money on food anyway. So like it is a cheaper option for sure.
To be more intentional
about what you're eating. Like, your exercise, like, that's free. You can do body weight training at home. You don't have to go to a gym. Like, there's so many things that you can do that are free that you don't have to spend money on. But there are, like, our services will help you along that process and kind of get you to your goals faster. Yeah. But can also, like, all those free things, like, for a lot of people, it will get them to a point